Hey there, welcome to another episode of Fans of Motion, the Ultimate Night Ranger podcast. Joining me, like always, my brother, my partner in crime, Mr. Florida Man himself. I'm glad to see you're wearing a shirt this time, buddy. My buddy, my partner, Dave Nadelman. Dave Nadelman, say hi to all the listeners out there.
What's happening, y'all? How you guys doing?
They are doing fine, they said.
They said,
Um,
I know they responded right away.
so, uh, So listen, everybody, on this episode, we and Dave are going to pick our top three live albums from the 80s. Not maybe the best, not, because there's an argument that, we could pick like what the industry considers the best or overall what, the general consensus is. This is our top three, the ones that we listen to and in our personal little own world is
Similar to what we did with the 70s live albums.
correct. So I don't know, 10 episodes ago or so, we did our top live albums from the 70s. Dave, if I remember, you had Wings Over America,
Yep.
which I did not own and had not listened to, which I bought for 10 bucks, all three records the other day. You had, I didn't remember. What's the other two?
We had Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore East.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Fuck. I don't know. I had something else.
it was something not as cool as mine. I know I had Kiss Alive 2. Um,
You had Kiss Alive 2.
yeah. What
We
else was?
spoke about,
I know I spoke about Humble Pie, but that wasn't in my top. It's amazing what how quick you forget this shit. I know I didn't have Frampton.
no,
Uh,
you had Seeger.
yeah, yeah, Live Bullet. Uh, and Kiss Alive 2. And what was my third, man? Um,
We can't remember our
I
thirds.
don't know. I know we talked about Cal Jam and Rubicon, that live record, but I'm sure my third was a great one. Um,
I'm sure it was too. Yeah, yeah, there's no
yes,
doubt.
stood the
I can flip through the albums and see which one was mine if, I just got to start it.
no,
Now,
we
okay,
don't we
good,
don't
good. We ain't got time for
we
that.
we don't give a shit. But
You know what?
anyways,
It's going to come to me in the middle of the podcast. I'm just going to stop and belt it
yeah.
out.
Um, was mine Nugent? Great Gonzos?
Live Gonzos, you mean?
Yeah, Great Gonzos
Oh,
is the
is the greatest
is
hits.
the greatest hits. If not, I probably gave it a mention. But listen, who gives a shit about the 70s? This is the 80s now. And for this moment, we know our three. Okay. Don't ask us,
Don't ask
don't
us at
ask us next
FinFest or
week.
something.
So, and again, these are not, at least mine, mine, you're going like, what the fuck? But like with me, again, I graduated in 1995. I was born in 77. So these 80 live albums, I was probably getting into in the early 90s on my own. So I would, a different perspective for me, I guess. You were probably getting them when they just came out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
These things were already, um, out in the world for years upon years when I get to them. Uh, what I, being a kid and not having a lot of money, obviously, it was like getting the greatest hits as well. I used to have a paper out, it was one of the biggest in our city, and it would take about 50 minutes to do. So I listened to a lot of music for a good 3 year period from 12 to 15 or whenever I had that paper route. I could almost listen to a whole side one and side two on that paper route. So a lot of these I remember having the cassettes and doing the paper route. Things that I try to keep when we do this is when I try to keep it, it was recorded in the 80s and released in the 80s. Now, it's going to be hard if we do the 90s because Live in Japan Night Ranger, one of my favorite live records, came out in 90, recorded in 89. Actually, probably recorded in December of 88. So I try to keep, that in perspective.
But why would you
Uh,
pick Night Ranger as a favorite? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
right?
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
they're one of those bands. I find myself every now and then like, oh, I forgot how good they were.
Yeah, I see that poster
Um,
behind you there, Josh. It says the Damn Yankees. Wasn't one of those members in
yeah, I think the bass player from Styx, Chuck Manazzo, was in that group.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I don't know what this fucking shit is. Someone put that stuff up there. But anyways, so me and Dave got three records. He doesn't know mine. I just know his titles. So we're going to talk about some of these records. I'm going to show some of them that didn't make our list. Okay. Now, you're listening, and I'm going to ramble off some shit, and you're going to like, what about this one? What about this one? That's what's great is leave a comment and tell us what tell us, hey, I love this record and here's the reason why. I was 13 and my brother had it and I stole it from him, whatever. But a lot of big records, live records, you had U2 Under a Blood Red Sky.
Red
You
Sky.
had
Yep.
Talking Heads had a live album, I remember. You had Exit Stage Left by Rush. Motorhead had Hammersmith live. And
Genesis Three Sides Live.
yep, Bob Seger had another live record that came out in
Nine
the
Tonight.
early.
Yep.
Yep.
Nine Tonight.
You had a live album I kind of remember, even as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, somewhere in there, was the Pink Floyd Delicate Sound of Thunder. That came out. I know the Scorpions had one.
Worldwide
Um,
Live.
you had Dokken,
Dokken.
Beast,
Unleashed in the East.
Beast, and then another one I kind of remember was the Judas Priest one. I
Priest
think that
Live.
live,
Priest Live.
not,
Yeah.
yeah. So those are just ones that I kind of remember being out there as well. Now, it didn't make my list, but I think it would make a lot of people's list. And I had the cassette when I was younger. I don't know where that cassette went, but I do have it on this Randy Rhoads tribute. Now, this isn't in my top three, but this is probably a top three live album from the 80s. So this was recorded before his death, released in 19, I think 87. And I just remember my buddies in the late 80s and 90s. If we had Ozzy, we probably had this live record.
Because
So,
it had everything that you would want to listen to.
correct. And even then, Randy Rhoads was this phenomenon and unique player. So it was just, Ozzy Osbourne tribute was just a cassette everybody seemed to have, and it came close to, my list. Um, Personally, another live album I like, Y&T, Open Fire. What is unique about this, Dave, is their biggest hit, Summertime Girls, was on the live record. It's a studio song. They were releasing this. They wrote Summertime Girls. I think a radio exec heard it like, holy shit, that needs to go out now. And they threw it on this live record. So everything's live. So if you like even the hype sticker, studio version, Summertime Girls plus 10 live songs. So that's a unique thing is, it's got their
And a lot of
biggest
bands
hit.
would do that. They would put a studio song on a live
Correct.
record.
Well, what's live records a lot of times served as like the end of a band.
Contract fulfillment.
Correct. Or okay, back then they released something every year. For some reason, a band can't release something this year. Let's put out a live album. So live albums were kind of like afterthoughts, kind of. Now in the 70s, they were like kind of throwaways. Okay, we don't have the money to put you in a studio. Let's do a live album. And that's kind of what they did with Kiss. Kiss was on their last legs, and we can't really afford their record company's going over. We really can't afford to do a new studio record. Let's do a live record. And fortunately for Kiss, Kiss Live took off. And kind of that with along with Frampton Comes Alive, kind of pushed this new, made live records a big thing. And then you had Cheap Trick and Bob Seger and all of our was Cheap Trick your third?
Cheap Trick Budokan was my third.
There we go. So, and kind of created this, thing where live albums now were kind of respectable and a cool thing to do. Um, but yes, they sometimes signaled the end of, you know, careers, stuff like that. And sometimes they would put a studio song on there. This album, I remember as a kid, I didn't own it, but in the last 20 years, I've listened to it more than obviously when it came out the first 20 years, I guess. And it's going to be on a lot of
Is
people's
this your number
lists.
three? Is
No,
this your okay?
no. Iron Maiden Live After Death. Uh, I think recorded in Long Beach. Like,
It was on the Power Slave tour.
no, was
Uh,
it? Yeah, maybe
I
you're
want to
right.
say it was the Power Slave tour because I
Um,
remember getting that album when it shortly after it came out. And
you might be right. Yeah. Some reason I thought it was so. This was 86. I think Seventh Son of a Seventh Son was 87. So you're probably
but there are
right.
probably no songs from
No,
Seventh Son on.
This is 85.
Yeah.
So yes, it would be. You're right. Some reason I was thinking it was the next album over, but you're right.
Otherwise, it would have like "Can I Play with Madness" on there or something like that, and it doesn't.
Correct. Correct. What I liked about it was it's got Dickinson doing some of the um what his fucking name's fucking eluding me. Um my favorite fucking Maiden record, uh Killers. Who's the goddamn original singer? God, I hate getting old. Uh
Sucks. That's why we need. That's why we need to do a live podcast so people can chime in and say, "Dumbass, it was."
Everybody's like listening and like it's this and like I know I say his name all the fucking time. Paul Diano. So it was I liked it because it had some Paul Diano stuff with Dickinson singing, like Rat Child and stuff.
And it just keeps in line with the amazing album cover artwork. Is that a gatefold? It was a
Yep.
gatefold. Yeah.
So this is probably on a lot of people's lists. I
Yeah. So if you
thought,
open it up, that's kind of Power Slave. It's got the pyramid
yeah.
in there, and yeah.
So I originally thought when we were going to do this, this was going to be, and if I did it now, like if I put my like, well, what's now? It would be, but I was like, I want to go back to what I was listening to in the '90s more, and what influenced me then. Okay. So that probably would be in it now, but I wanted to kind of go back. And then the last one I'll do is this right here, Night Ranger. So this is what
I'm still in search of that.
the VHS would have been, okay, the Seven Wishes, but mastered for audio only, so it sounds fantastic. The has all the opening stuff they edited out. Um, and just sounds phenomenal. It's three records. Uh, I just won't include it on there just because it's not commercial. This is just something that was sent out to radio stations. If you get this, this is fucking phenomenal. It's the VHS, but it's mastered, like I said, for audio consumption. Just sounds great. Um, so yeah, that's Night Ranger live in Irvine Meadows, September of 85. So those are some that, I know a lot of people out there that listen are going to have on theirs along with some of those we mentioned. But Dave, let's do your number three. What's your number three top live album from the 80s?
Oh, I had to come up with a list.
Oh, fuck.
So my number three is an album that was this live album was released in 1983, and it was recorded in 82 and part of in early 83. Uh, when I think of a female voice in rock and roll, she's number one for me.
Carpenter's Live. I got it. I fucking knew, man.
Now,
So,
it's Pat Benatar, Live from Earth. Phenomenal album. I mean, it's really got every. It's kind of like a greatest hits album, but it's live. I mean, it's got the "Hit Me with Your Best Shot." It's got "Promises in the Dark," maybe one of the greatest Benatar songs. "Love Is a Battlefield." What else is on here? Hell is for Children," and the live version of "Hell is for Children." Not on this one, but she had another album, the greatest hits album called "Best Shots." I don't know if you
mhm.
remember it. And "Hell's for Children" on there was paired up with "Suffer the Little Children," another song she did that they played live, and that just made it incredible. but the one on here is fantastic.
So did you get that record when it came out, or when did you first discover it?
I probably discovered this in, well, I probably discovered this when kind of grunge was coming in and I wasn't part of that thing. And I was like, and I was kind of getting,
Back into stuff. Yeah, which is what I
but
did.
I was getting 80 hair metaled out. So a little bit,
Hmm.
because I was listening to it so much after grunge came out. I was like, let me go back and listen to Benatar and
Hmm.
who else? You know, s-
Yeah.
Artists back then. And I recently got this on vinyl, not too long ago. Um,
Is it
I-
all live? Is there any studio songs or
there is
anything?
no studio songs; it's all live.
All right. All recorded at the same place? Because that's another thing too. If you look at some of these live albums,
No, no, this was recorded over certain dates, so it was recorded from 82 to 83.
okay.
So,
Yeah. All right. So no studio songs, all live. Pat Benatar, 1983, you said, right?
yep, live from Earth.
Can't say that I've heard that, but I'm not a big Pat Benatar fan. I mean not that I don't like her. It's just something I don't really go to. Um and I just remember my stepdad when I was younger, he liked her. Thought she was hot and shit like that. Um
And she's still out
yeah.
playing
Yeah.
today. Her and her
Well,
husband.
suddenly Pat Benatar became Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo or whatever. But,
Correct.
uh, but one thing I just remember about her is, and I could be wrong. Again, remember when she's at her height, I'm 5 or 6 years old. You know, um, but I just remember, oh, she's pretty, and she's got short hair. You know what I mean? Like I just don't remember a lot of women
And
having
she
short
she
hair
kind of
back.
she kind of set the high school style. Girls like would come like to dress like Pat Benatar with,
Uh,
with just her type of out. Like she was
yeah.
the 80's. I have to look like her during my high school.
And she was probably one of those ones where we talk about how these bands that were big in the early 80s, Night Ranger, REO Speedwagon, Survivor, Loverboy, and how they became ancient dinosaurs by 86 and 87 were already on their way out. I feel like she was the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you know, um, not a big knowing the history of Pat Benatar, but I feel like
Well, she
that's
started in late, like the
70s.
later part of the 80's. She put out a blues album that tanked, and she
Mhm.
was mixing it up, and now
Yeah.
she
I mean,
plays the legacy. She's the
yeah.
legacy on the legacy tour.
So Pat Benatar, number three. My number three is now I was in the early 90s and still am. I mean, I still like him, but in the early 90s, man, I was a big Kiss fan. Got into Kiss, and my favorite member was Ace Frehley. So I got this Live Plus One, came out in 1987. I remember. No, 88. Recorded in 87. It's actually an EP, so four live songs and one studio song. I remember I got the cassette, and I just remember I was with my grandparents. I put it in their cassette player in their car, and looking back on it, it's just like, what the fuck? Like he's talking about Rocket Ride, and he's like, this song is about entering a black hole, if you know what I mean. And it's like, I do, I think, and but so yes, this was recorded in Chicago, 87. So it's like I said, it's basically what they consider the EP, five songs. Um, like I said, Fraley's Comet Live plus one. Side one was Rip It Out, which was off his Kiss solo album in 78. The second song on side one is Breakout, which was off his solo album in 87, after he was gone from Kiss. Side two, Something Moved, again off the studio album or off the studio album in 87. And then Rocket Ride, which was off Alive 2 in 1977, but was a studio song on that live record. And um, and then this actually has a studio song on there called "Words Are Not Enough," which is a good pop rock song by Ace. So Ace, like even like Kiss, the studio songs were okay, but the live versions just rocked. And um, I just listened to this a lot. It's crazy to think two of these guys are gone now. John Reagan, who was a bass player, played a lot of years with Peter Frampton, and then Ace passed last October. But I just always love. I mean, it's probably a little bit manipulated. I think these are actually I don't know what the word would have been back then, but like if you look, this picture I think is taken by someone else than this photo, and like they crop it in. But yeah, I just thought that was just an awesome, you know, album cover, and yeah, just a great heavy live record that I listen to a lot. Still listen to today. It still holds up. Um, so Ace Frehley, Frehley's Comet,
Nice.
live plus one. What is your number two there, buddy?
So my number two may bend the rules a little bit.
Jeez.
I can't have it anywhere else. Um, and I wasn't really into this album when it came out, just because I originally wasn't into the artist. I mean, I liked the artist, but I was like, it
Oh,
was just so, huh?
Carpenter's live at Hammersmith 81.
Josh, you know what? I'm not going to tell you my lives and albums anymore because you're just going to ruin my build up. No, not the Carpenters. Um,
Is this kind of like Pat Benatar where you got into the later age?
I got into this artist at a much later age,
Okay.
like
Last week.
mid 2000s,
Okay.
things like that. And I didn't, he had excellent music, but I just didn't appreciate it till I was older.
All right. I get that.
And the live album, well, it's actually a live box set, is Bruce Springsteen live, an E Street Band live 1975 to 1985. This was released in 1986. It is 5 LP. And if you look at the back, and this was not recorded in one show. This
Yeah.
kind of was, most of it was in the 80s, but
Flip it. Flip it. Flip it. There you
um,
go.
see, that's weird because look, the front side is flip. Oh, I just probably have the cover on wrong. Anyway, um,
Yeah.
I became a huge Springsteen fan in around 2000s when
Yeah.
everything was there. But it's a 5 LP, and it's got the booklet in it. It's kind of like a little.
Well, what I remember about that is being young. Like I was probably 9 when that came out, and I just remember somewhere seeing the price tag, and I can't remember what it was back then, but it was just like, it just seemed like it was astronomical.
Imagine buying a 5 cassette box set,
Yeah, I mean,
or
God,
something like that. But this album came out hot off
Born in the
the
USA.
Born in the USA crazy. It was just he just finished that whatever year and a
Yeah,
half tour. I mean, and some of this,
he never really had a live album before that either.
no, no, um, and some of the live songs on here are better than the studio versions, like Born to Run.
Yeah.
I'll listen to that live anytime over. And well, you know
Well,
what? The studio version is
I've always said that the Born to Run's the ultimate Springsteen or
it
the
is.
ultimate rock song. Even before I really got into Springsteen, which again, probably 20 years ago, I just went from being just a fan to I dug deeper. But I always said that was the ultimate rock song just because it has everything a rock song should have: gritty vocals, the girl, abandonment, the society putting you down, escaping. It just had
And
all
then just some killer sax in it as
yeah.
well.
Um,
And then stuff that came out after here was just as incredible, which I didn't really
well,
like,
yeah,
Tunnel of
yeah.
Love
Well,
and
so
things like
let's
that.
go with that. I always like to tell this story. Again, I'm younger. I think Tunnel of Love came out in '87. I'm 10. Now, I'm 6, 7 years old when Born in the USA comes out. And you had Born in the USA Glory Days, Dancing in the Dark, fucking all over MTV. And I just remember being 10 years old and Brilliant Disguise
Brilliant
video.
disguise.
All right. Now, at this point, it's been 3, 4 years since all those songs, right? And even, back then as a just being a normal person, that seemed like forever for an artist to release a record. But as a, 10-year-old kid, like, oh, I haven't seen new Bruce Springsteen since I was 7 years old. And I just remember that coming on MTV and it's just him in the kitchen playing. And I just remember going, oh God, that sucked. And now it's one of the best written songs I've ever listened to. If you don't know Brilliant Disguise, that whole record, his
Yeah.
best
The,
studio
the, s-
record is Tunnel of Love. Tunnel of Love is the worst song on that record.
I love
Um,
that song. I
I like
love
it,
that
but
song.
to me, it's the worst song on the record. And Brilliant Disguise is one of the best. So, but you're right. The stuff that came after that is good. I
And
will
he would have
say,
he would bomb here and there,
yeah.
after that. But I mean, then he would have one that would just be
Well, he just
incredible.
he always he just did what he wanted to do, kind of
Yeah.
too. Night Ranger Connection, Alan Fitzgerald played on his acoustic tour in the 2007s, 2008s era, where it was just him on acoustic guitar, and then offstage Fitz played keyboards. Just just him and Bruce were the only two musicians. If you go to Bruce's website, you can purchase all his live shows, and you can download the booklet. And if you look at those live shows from that era, like I said, 2006, 7, somewhere in there, you'll see the musicians, Bruce Springsteen, Alan Fitzgerald. Um, yes, and then live, if you've never seen Bruce Springsteen live, you got to go.
I have not.
I went and saw him. Last time I saw him was 2016, and
Is
probably
that
the
like
only
the Rising? Is that
that was the he was celebrating. I don't know if he was celebrating an anniversary or not. I don't really think it would have been. He was doing the River front to back, which is 20 songs. All right. He opens with an unreleased song from that record, then does the 20 songs, and then does more songs. He did Born in the USA, all the hits, right? He started that show at 8 o'clock. It's 11:45 at night. He's played Born in the USA, Born to Run, all the hits that were not on the river. And then he busts into 10th Avenue Freeze Out, just a B-side off of Born to Run record. And I'm like, if he's just going to play B-sides at 11:40, this show could go on for another hour. And it went on for another 15 minutes. Right before midnight, he stopped. 4 hours. And just one of the best concerts I ever seen. But yes, I mean, kind of like what you were saying is those live versions.
And a five album live album. I mean,
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, he was the top of the world.
oh yeah,
That's the
this
only,
was
yeah,
the peak. That was the
yeah.
peak.
Um, and it's crazy too, just so the river was originally written as 10 songs. And the album was going to be called Ties That Bind. He had it done, and his heart just wasn't in it. So he tells his record company, "I'm not give. I want it back," and he scrapped that whole record and and created The River. Maybe one or two songs made it over to that. That's why that box set of The River is called Ties That Bind. And uh, those songs that he wrote that were never released, phenomenal fucking songs. Like I remember Stevie Van Zandt one time talking about some of these songs, Roulette and some of these other Ties That Bind. He goes, they're just, this is before they released that box set. He goes, they're just in a vault. He goes, people made careers off songs like that. And he's just got them sitting in a vault. Like that's how good those songs were. And
I think he just re-released or did a box set for Nebraska too.
yes, yeah, I think it included so with Nebraska, Nebraska's basically him in a room on an acoustic guitar, but he recorded that electric. And he didn't like how it came out, and I think he just went back in and re-recorded it just in his bedroom with his guitar, or either that or those were the demos, and he kind of touched up the demos, and
Must be nice to be able to just do whatever the hell you want, huh?
and it worked. I mean, Nebraska's considered
Yeah.
um, uh, one of his um, best songs, out there. I'm trying to think of uh, there was a song um, that he opened that 2016 show
Was
with,
it
which
that
was
21 shots? Was it the
no, no,
or 41 shots, whatever it
yeah,
was?
that was that protest song, Meet Me in the City. So Meet Me in the City was a song that was written for the river and didn't make it on. And it's fucking phenomenal. That was the song that was unreleased that he opened that show with. And and what's crazy is, you're in a huge arena, all the lights are on, the band just walks out. They play that song, keep the lights on, and after that song, when they're going to go into track one of the river, that's when they turn off all the lights and start technically the show. They just came out and played that. Meet Me in the City. Great. Anyways, welcome to Fans of Motion, Bruce Springsteen
Bruce
uh,
Springsteen edition.
podcast. But yes, that's a very good one. And it's crazy because you go to used record stores now, you will see that in there because they sold a billion copies of it. And what I also like is you'll go to like the
I think I
used,
picked it up for like $10 or something.
yeah,
It's crazy.
you'll go to like used CDs or used cassettes, and you'll see three of them in there, or three of the CDs. Like you'll look, where's CD 2 and 5, and like fuck. But yeah, definitely a good one to have. Um, again, too rich for my blood back then, and um, something that being a Springsteen fan, I still haven't. I've listened to it, but I haven't listened to it a lot. Like I've listened to the box sets more than I have that. Um, so moving on, let's get to somewhere else. This album definitely is not the best live album from the 80's. It wouldn't be my top three maybe now, but back then, God, I listened to this record a lot. Um, and it was good. I enjoyed it. I listened to it on my paper route. This was a breakup live record. So the band broke up. They released this afterward. They had one studio song sitting out there. They threw it on as track one. My number two is Styx, Caught in the Act.
Excellent.
Came out
Excellent.
came out
The
in
oh
night. God,
no, no, okay. You talk about your album.
think about came out in 1984. The studio song was Music Time. Kind of I like it. Shitty song, but I like it. You know.
The
Uh,
Rocking the Paradise off that album, the way it just comes in the intro. I mean, that is that was that that wasn't the
no,
big opening track.
this is the Kilroy tour. Um, Luckily they don't put a lot of Kilroy stuff on here.
No, no, they
But
have isn't
yeah, Rockin' the Paradise opens
yeah.
side three.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but um, yeah, I just remember like looking at these photos and because back then you didn't have fucking Google and shit like that, and there weren't a lot of photos out there. So I just remember like looking at these and looking in this record, and so Music Time was the studio song track one, and then you had Mr. Roboto. Even back then, it was like too much time on my hands. Okay,
I think Music Time was that the lead in to Rocking the Paradise on that album? Or is it
no,
later?
no, no. Rockin' the Paradise in this album's like halfway through the album. So side one was Music Time. This album opens with the studio song, then goes into the live, Mr. Roboto, Too Much Time on My Hands, and Babe. I just remember hating, the first part of the cassette. But then you get into Snowblind off Paradise Theater. I could even handle Best of Times. Then you had Sweet Madam Blue live. Awesome. Rock in the Paradise, Blue Collar Nights, Blue Collar Man, Miss America. Even Don't Let It In, I was cool with. And then it ended with Fooling Yourself, Crystal Ball, and Sail Away. So it was the straight up almost greatest hits. You did have Snowblind, Rock in the Paradise live, which was cool, and Sweet Madam Blue live. But
Sweet Madam Blue is just an epic song. I mean,
yeah,
even the
yeah,
studio version is epic.
yeah. Um, but like I said, the band broke up, and this is what they put out. Uh,
And what year was
what's
that, Josh?
this should be 84. Yeah, I finally see it there. So 84. So Kilroy was 83. Band broke up in 84. Um, and if you watch the Music Time video, um, Tommy Shaw wanted nothing to do with Styx. So if you look, it's the four band members together, and Tommy Shaw is recorded by himself. Like I just remember he's got like a toboggan on and he's waving by himself. It's just so fucking goofy. But anyways, if you watch, they did put out a video for Music Time, but they had broken up, and Tommy wouldn't, so they basically took a little camera to this Tommy and filmed him by himself. So he's in the video, just they're never on the same screen together.
But wasn't that also a concert film?
Well, Kilroy was that promotional. I don't know if they filmed the concert. They had that Kilroy performance where Mr. Roboto was maybe like a 15-minute video or something.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
so now I think they did record this. I think you can buy the DVD, but um yeah, uh I'm not.
Where Dennis DeYoung is like a carny or, like one of the carny guys. I thought that
Well, that would have been like I think is that Paradise Theater? I don't fucking. I mean, I don't know what the hell was going on with Kilroy. I guess that would be
he was there though.
yeah, but I saw them on the Paradise Theater reunion tour in '96. Where it opens up with some guys sweeping, the stage, and then the
Yeah,
band
yeah,
starts
yeah.
playing, then closes down, and it ends with the guy sweeping. So, yeah, so that's my number two. Like I said, I don't listen to it that often anymore, but when I was younger, I fucking played the shit out of that record.
The Rocking the Paradise version, that live version is I like that better than the studio version.
Oh yeah, I
Just the
mean,
way it kicks in and it starts
yeah,
and it's yeah, good
yeah.
stuff.
All right, here it is, the moment of truth. Your number one record.
So, my number one favorite live record of the 80s happens to also be my number one favorite live record of all time. Please don't, you want to make a guess?
I was going to go with the Carpenters,
Carpenter's live in
Flesh,
Oslo.
Flesh and Blood Live, Carpenters.
I started listening to this album after it came out, way after it came out. Um, a friend of mine he was the first car. He was like
Hmm.
the first one to have a car,
Yeah.
and he played this cassette nonstop, and I just never tired of it, and it became my favorite live album. Released in 1981, and it is Journey
Yeah.
Captured.
Journey Captured. A good bookend to the Greg Raleigh era
Yes,
because
yes.
that is the last album that Greg
Right.
Raleigh.
This was on the Infinity Tour, which was before they got all escaped and stopped believing and
Mhm.
you know, um, but it's a great album from front to back. It's a two album set, um, front to back, and maybe one of the best live tracks on here, or it's actually two, where it starts with uh, "Where Were You?" Awful song in a studio version, but here, fantastic, and it opens with Majestic. It's kind of like a little, I don't know if you know Majestic. It's kind of just a little snippet of a just instrumental, and then they
Mhm.
just punch into Where Were You? Um, I'm sorry, not the Infinity album, the
Uh, uh,
Departure album. Departure.
yeah, I can't keep them track. Yeah, Departure, Infinity, Evolution.
Yeah, yeah.
So um, now that album has one of my favorite Journey studio
Yes,
songs.
so it closes out with a it it's a whole concert. I don't know if it was one show or multiple shows.
I want to say it was, again, I haven't looked at this in that album cover probably in 20 years, but I want to say it was multiple shows.
But I mean, even you see even the band on the back
Yeah.
there in their little
I
before they.
mean, yep. I mean, it's still 70s Journey right there.
Yep, yep. But the song you're referring to is "The Party's Over," "Hopelessly in Love."
Yep.
Uh, it closes out the record or the second record, um, and fantastic song, and
Yeah,
never
like
released anywhere else. And I don't think it's ever been played live.
I'm not a big enough Journey fan to tell you if that is true or not. I don't know. Um, like I said, it's the bookend for Greg Raleigh. Greg Raleigh, um, original member, Greg Raleigh and Neil Sean was in Santana. They basically formed Journey. Greg Raleigh sang, he sang on some of the records that were out before Steve Perry joined. Uh, Greg Raleigh sang Black Magic Woman from Santana.
He
Uh,
sang on this live album.
yeah,
He on the songs that were twin vocals.
yep.
For example, yesterday was a good
Yeah,
day.
uh, uh, yeah. Own Way. What's the song? Anyways, yes. I've drawn a blank too. But so Greg Raleigh leaves after that tour. They released that live album. That's the last
Just the same
appearance.
way. Just the same
Just
way.
the same way. That's the same. That's Greg Raleigh's last appearance, on a Journey record. And after that, they replaced him with Jonathan
Jonathan Cain.
Cain from the Babies.
I mean, they're playing stadiums.
Oh yeah, this
They're
is.
this is
I mean,
Journey.
what's crazy is you want to say that's the height of Journey. No, it got bigger.
It got bigger, yeah.
Yeah. I think the big show that they recorded from that era was Houston.
Live in Houston.
You know, um, but yeah, and we what's crazy, is we talk about this and I forget this shit. So let's go to my contacts, buddy, and let's type in this. Look at my contacts. Look at that. Who's that?
Ross Valerie.
I sometimes forget about that. I should get drunk and call Ross. But Ross was on the Fans in Motion podcast with Eric Levy because Eric Levy of Night Ranger plays with Ross. What we got there? The
So this
Houston
was the live in Houston. So it's going to be after that because obviously they're using the Escape
Escape.
cover.
Okay. All
But
right.
yeah,
Yeah. All right. So I guess I was a little off there. I thought it was from that tour, but we're talking about a year later. Um, but yeah, so uh yeah, good record. Even as a kid, I had that on CD. So I would have gotten that in the probably early 90s. Um,
oh, hopelessly party's over. Hopelessly in love is on here too. I don't know if it's a live version on here on the live in Houston.
when was the is it have the date of the concert? Oh yeah, I thought the date was on the front. Is that the
No, just live in Houston, 1981. But
Yeah,
it
I guess
does.
if it's an Escape tour, then it's got to be Jonathan Cain. So maybe they did play it live. I don't know. Um,
Yeah, because they were definitely Jonathan Cain did play because Jonathan Cain has a piano solo.
all right, there we go. So yeah, so definitely a and I could be wrong. They released that soundtrack album in Japan, Dream After Dream, and I don't know if that was right after that or right before that. So any hardcore Journey fans, don't give me shit if I said that it's the last Greg Raleigh record. Maybe that Dream After Dream came out. All right, so that
You got
was
you got
your.
a you got a number one there, Josh?
I do.
Better than mine? Of course
Oh,
it's better than mine.
definitely.
Of course it's
So
better.
my number one live record from the 80s, the album that scared me when I was 6 years old at our local department store, Lancaster Sales, is Ozzy Osbourne. If you're in England, talk of the devil. But if you're ever else in the world, speak of the devil. So look at that. Speak of the devil, talk of the devil. So yeah, so Ozzy Osbourne, obviously we all know Brad Gillis on this record. This record is Ozzy doing all Black Sabbath songs. Um, I first saw this at Lancaster Sales. I was probably 5 years old. Lancaster Sales is just a little local department store. I remember exactly the building's still there. It's not a department store anymore, an antique mall, but I remember exactly where it was at. I remember going by this record bin and seeing this at 5 years old, and this gave me nightmares. Now I look at it now, it's like, it's just a dude with fucking, jello. But back then, this was the devil. Um, Getting into, obviously Night Ranger and everything. I had this CD probably 1990. And that's kind of like 90's where I was able to start. I was 12, 13. I was able to start kind of finding my own music. Um, my stepdad had started buying CDs at this point, and I could steal his stuff too. Now, he wasn't in the Sabbath, but I remember getting this and fucking loving these songs, and then getting We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll and loving it the same way. Like, so I was actually introduced to Sabbath from this record. But then I got We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll right after that, and just like to this day, like Sabbath, if you really broke it down, I think Sabbath's the best band. Like they are just the I could take 20 Sabbath songs and I would put those 20 Sabbath songs up against any other 20, and to me they're the best. I mean, just fucking Ozzy's voice, Tony Iommi's fucking guitar, Bill Ward's drums, and fucking Geezer Butler as a bass player. There's just nothing better. But my first introduction was Speak of the Devil. And even as,
It's like a super group before there was super groups.
well, yeah, I mean, what I like about it is they they give a new twist to these Sabbath songs, right? So it's like Sabbath is, you know, death, stunned, and just fucking there. And this was just different. Like Brad played totally different than Iommi. And, Tommy Aldrich just plays different, but fucking still great. And, even Rudy's different. And I mean, really, it's Brad's playing. And what was so cool was just last year, me and Brad drove from Southern Ohio to up in Cleveland. And I don't know, we had like XM radio on. And I was like, I don't know, it wasn't playing, we couldn't find anything. And so I'll have a CD in there, but now it's like you never play CDs in your truck. So I was like, let me see what CD I have in there because I hadn't listened to the CD probably in 2 or 3 months. So I hit the CD button to see what's playing. Speak of the Devil. Speak of the Devil was Brad Gillis. So that's kind of cool. I got Speak of the Devil playing. There's Brad Gillis sitting next to me. I'm like, you want to listen to this? He goes, yeah, let's listen to it. And I remember there's this part I love on Children of the Grave. Dun 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 dun, dun. And it's like this, like where Tony Iommi would be dun 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 dun, and then Brad Yeltsin was dun 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 dun, and he was just telling me like what that is. Like it was delay with like harmonics and shit. And I was like, I just always, and it's great. It's cool because I just remember listening to that when I was 12, loving that, and then talking to the guy that did it. And
You gotta love listening to something and you hear a weird part, and then the guy right next to you is telling you what it
dude,
was.
it's what's crazy is I got a photo of it, but we stopped at like a Texas Roadhouse or something. He had Bubba with him, and we took in a case, a soft case. We took Bubba into the restaurant, and we're sitting at the bar. So it's Brad, Bubba, and me. And I took a picture. Just you can see my leg and Brad's leg and the guitar case in between us. I don't think I ever shared it or nothing, but who would ever thought, I want to get dinner with Bubba and Brad, but Um, but yeah, I mean that was just cool because it's one of those things where it's like when it starts playing, like, do you want to listen to this? It's kind of like, someone, God forbid, everyone I'm driving with them, they, hey, what's playing? Oh, it's Fans of Motion podcast. I'd be like, turn that shit off, you know. But I don't think he'd heard it in so long.
Not that I'm on, not now that I'm on, it wouldn't be that way. They'd want
Yeah,
to hear it, but
yeah. So, but yeah, it's just so great. Um, some of the history was obviously Ozzy's coming out of Sabbath. He's got the two records. Randy Rhoads had just died, and you got them releasing this, and Sabbath released, that a live album we didn't mention that's good, Live Evil, um, with Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, then with Ronnie James Dio and Vinny Appice. But this just has, I mean, to me, like Symptom of the Universe, that this version is the version. Like as much as I love Sabbath, this version is the version. But it's got Snowblind, Black Sabbath, Nativity in Black, Sweetleaf, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Iron Man, Children of the Grave, Paranoid, Fairies Wear Roots, War Pigs, Wizard. I mean, it has all their big shit. You know, the only song I never really liked that they throw on some of these Sabbath stuff is Never Say Die. It's got that. I mean, whatever. That's the only little thing. But yeah, I mean, it sounds phenomenal. You got Rudy, you got Tommy Aldridge, Brad Gillis, Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, just don't get better than that. And like I said, in England, it was called Talk of the Devil, which the only thing I can see that
I just got a repress of it, and I'm assuming it's going to be Speak of the Devil. Whatever.
you have it on vinyl,
Hmm.
a repress of it.
Hmm.
Get it, because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because that's the thing with Speak of the Devil is it hasn't been reissued since, and it was only reissued on CD back in the
This may be a bootleg, so it may be an unofficial. So
it's going to be. So, like, if you're looking those watching, so this here, Ozzy did these remasters in the mid 90s, probably 96, 90, probably 95, 96. And
I don't
that's
have it
really
in
the
front of me.
last time Speak of the Devil's been released. You can't get it on Spotify. Um, what we
See,
got there, Dave?
that was another live album I wanted to show, but then I realized it was 70s.
You need to put that stuff in alphabetical order.
These are stuff I haven't that are in queue to play.
In queue to play. But yeah, so I mean, I'm probably not saying anything out of school when it comes to, Night Ranger podcasts and everybody being Brad Gillis fans. I'm sure we've all listened to Speak of the Devil, but yeah,
Sometimes I
just
can't find it.
all right. That's all right. I would assume though it's this thing has not been reissued on vinyl. And it's part of that whole, I guess, Ozzy estate thing. And I don't know if it's out of courtesy, towards Black Sabbath now of not releasing it because it's all Black Sabbath stuff. But um, the only way you'll find the original cassettes, the original vinyl from the 80s. It was released on CD, and then in the mid 90s yeah, so that is
An unofficial.
that's non-official. Show me the back.
Hold on, I got shit dropping here everywhere.
Jesus, come on,
I'm
man.
like you trying to find your
Come on. So, all right, I can't see that, buddy. All right, what's that say there? So, symptom of the universe, no blind. Yeah, 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 yeah. So let's pull it up. So that's the Ritz. Was this the Ritz as well? I can't remember. Um, yeah, so it looks like it's just a bootleg uh, of it, but that's not official.
September 27th, 1982,
Yep, that's the
Ritz, New
Ritz.
York.
Yeah, the 26th and 27th. So does that have the 26th and 27th on it?
It just says the 27th,
So that is probably just a live recording, maybe, because all the songs are the same. Now they did play Ozzy solo songs, but they didn't release on that record. So either they just put the wrong date on there and didn't include both dates,
which is
or
probably, if it's unofficial, it's probably what it is.
because I think if they were going to release the whole show um from that date, they would included the solo songs
But it says this does your is notice how what it says
remastered.
remastered soundboard
Yeah,
recording.
yeah. So, um, if you
So what do you
notice
say?
though,
What are you saying?
if
I got a lemon?
well, I don't know, it might be good. But if you notice, there's no barcode on it. I'm pretty sure.
You would be correct.
So, not that that's an end all of everything, but anything newer would have a barcode on it. Uh, so yeah, and I think some of these songs too. I think there's a couple songs that they actually didn't play live. It's actually live at Soundcheck. But yeah, to me, that's just my ultimate go-to live record. I mean, obviously because Brad Gillis, but obviously too that I enjoy Black Sabbath. So there you are. Um, Mr. Dave Nadelman has Pat Benatar, Bruce Springsteen, and Journey, and I got Fraley's Comet. Um, what else do I got? Fraley's Comet, Styx, and Ozzy Osbourne.
Did you purposely have two out of your three records with this with the song Snowblind on it?
Well, yeah, just because even when I was 12, I mean, I was like, I knew what that cocaine and women
Hmm.
would treat you the same. So, um, yeah, so. I guess these guys got caught in like winter storms a lot, I mean,
That's got to be the reason.
um,
Yep.
so but yeah, so there you are. I mean, tell us what your favorite live record was from the 80s. And give a little story. I always like hearing the stories. Like, yeah, my kind of like you. I like that Journey story where your buddy had the
Yeah.
cassette and he was the first,
The first
one.
car, the Honda
Yeah.
Accord.
Yeah. I love those stories. I remember I had a buddy who talked about, you know, we weren't old enough to drive, but this girl, she was so hot. She lived right down the road and she was a little bit older than us. And she had this, car with T-tops. And he's like, I just remember she had these white jeans on and we were walking. She's like, you guys want to ride? And we hopped in and she had ABBA in the 8 track, and just them, so I always love hearing those stories. But yeah, so leave us a comment. Tell us what your favorite live record was from the 80s and a little story why. If you're listening to this on YouTube, hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up, show us love. We love love. If you're on Spotify and all those other places, iHeartRadio, click like and subscribe on there. And go to Instagram, follow us on there. I'm sure most of you guys are already on the um, the Facebook uh, group. If not, just go to Facebook, type in Fans of Motion Night Ranger, click join. Uh, FemFest, October 17th, 2026, the Ultimate Night Ranger Fan Fest. It's going to be great. Get your
Lawrenceburg, Indiana.
get your tickets. Go to
Not
the
Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Don't go to
yeah,
Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. We're not going to be there.
yeah. Basically, Lawrenceburg, Indiana is a suburb of Cincinnati. So you're basically in Cincinnati. So there you are, man. Just live albums from the 70s or 80s. Just something we're trying to just branch out a little bit, talk music, but we incorporated a lot of Night Ranger in on this one, and um, we appreciate you listening. Dave, you want to take us out, buddy?
Yeah, so make sure you're getting those FinFest tickets because Josh told me a while ago that shirts were optional. So
Oh, there you go, man. I mean,
I mean, uh, I'm gonna open the show. Yeah, come on in, guys, and like Josh said, subscribe to all the platforms that we're on, and we will catch you next time. Later.
later.
Maybe down the road.